We're joined now by Brittany Mallory and Becca Pruszewski and Coach Muffet McGraw. Coach, if you can start with an opening statement.
When we were scouting the Arizona State Temple back when the bracket came out, we thought Temple would probably win that game. I think they're a great team. They have tremendous guard play. They had a great season, and it's going to be a really difficult matchup for us.
Questions for the student athletes? Over here. Got the mic coming.
Brittany, Temple likes the three-pointers. They hit like 14 one game. I think they hit 12 against Ohio State, 10 against UCLA. Can you talk about defending the perimeter and the things that you have to do to make sure they don't exploit that against you guys?
Absolutely. Like Coach said, they have great guard play, and you know, we're going to have to really lock down on the perimeter. And you know, Becca and Dev and Natalie Achama are going to be in the paint helping us if we get beat on the drive. So it's really going to be a team effort tonight. We just have to really get a hand up in their face.
This is for both of the players. Can you talk a little bit just about the history of the programming? Do you guys feel like you're part of something special being at Notre Dame? And also, does it give you maybe an edge and intimidation factor against some of these teams?
I guess it does, but it doesn't at the same time. The history, of course, but that doesn't really affect our team and how we are now. And I mean, we still have to come out ready to focused and ready to go every game and be sure we bring it, or else the history really doesn't matter.
I understand you guys went and saw Lady Gaga last night. Just curious if you're fans and how the concert was and maybe what the highlight of the show was, and if you caught yourself singing along.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. It was definitely something, you know. It was nice to get the game off our minds for a bit, but I mean, it's a new day. It's time to focus. We got our scouting report out, and we're ready to get going to practice.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Over here.
Brittany, can you talk about just what enables you to be the defensive player you are? How, you know, not everybody embraces defense, and just, you know, like last night getting switched over to Rodriguez, just how you were able to excel in that situation?
Yeah, I just kind of take it personally. I don't really like getting scored on, and you know, if I need to do whatever I can to help my team, and if that's, you know, going out on the defensive end and giving all I got there, and coming down on offense, maybe making that extra pass, and yeah, I'll just do whatever for the team, and defense is fun to me, so I'm excited for tomorrow.
Besides your competitiveness, what else enables you to excel on defense? Are you just a real student of the game? You study the competition, or are you extremely quick? Do you anticipate? I mean, what is it?
I think it's everything, and also that I don't want to let my team down, so I don't want, you know, whoever I'm guarding to have, you know, 25 points that night. Just really doing it for my team, and just kind of watching and film and learning their tendencies, and just kind of going out and playing.
Brittany, can you talk about maybe the team chemistry this year, and also what is motivating you guys as a team in general?
You know, we're a very tight-knit group this year. We lost 4 great seniors last year, and I think, you know, we all stepped into a new role, especially Becca and I, you know, coming in as the captains and, you know, really kind of taking over, and Skylar was the point guard running the team. She's doing a great job, and, you know, we're all just here to play for each other, and we don't want to let anyone down, so we're just going to do whatever we can for each other.
Becca, did you see anything that surprised you about Temple's interior game yesterday that may not have been on scouting reports or film?
Well, we didn't really see much film on them because we were obviously focused on the first game, but they're a great guard team, like to get inside the paint, and then from there they can dish to the lower, you know, the post on the block. So it's definitely going to be a defensive challenge for us. We're going to have to work on our rotations and be sure we box out, match up, and yeah. I mean, they're aggressive, they get inside, they rebound and fight for the ball. So it's, again, blocking out and just making sure we're matched up.
Utah played you guys very close in the first half, and What do you think you guys are going to do differently tomorrow that will to try and just have a better start and hold off Temple a little earlier?
Well, I mean, it was our first game and that we hadn't played in a while, and it was on a different home court. You know, just the atmosphere, it takes a little bit to get used to, but I definitely think having a game under our belt, a couple practices, is definitely going to help when we come out tomorrow.
Brittany, Temple is like 7th in the nation in fewest turnovers per game. Can you talk about how you get the transition rolling against a team like that, and what you do if the transition just isn't there?
Well, our defense, we just have to get up and try to force steals. Like you said, they're 7th in the nation and, you know, not turning the ball over. But I think with our defense, we're just going to try to get up with Dev at the point of our press and just really try to force the steals. It's what we've been doing all year, and we can't really change our game.
Brittany, I know Temple said earlier that they had done some extra conditioning to try to get adjusted for the altitude. I'm wondering if that was something you guys took into account, if that was a factor for you guys at any point since you got here?
I think in the beginning of the first half yesterday, I felt it a little. I think I could kind of speak for all of us. We felt it a little, but it wasn't a drastic change. And like Becca said, we have a game under our belts, and I think we'll be fine coming out tomorrow.
And Becca, can you talk a little bit about just the development of the team from last year to this year?
Definitely just have a lot of people stepping up in all different aspects. We have Devereaux Peters healthy. Excited for that. She's playing great. Skylar Diggins taking over at the point. Me and Brittany just coming into our roles as leaders and trying to calm everyone down, and Natalie Novosel kind of being a go-to and a scorer now, which, you know, was definitely, she's an X factor just as Dev is, and the whole team's kind of grown and matured. It's really great to see. You want to finish that? Yes, no, that's all.
Any other questions for the student athletes?
Becca, can you talk about the game tomorrow from a fan's point of view? It's going to be the underdog Temple trying to go where they've never been before, past the second round. And your team is perceived, and rightfully so, as one of the elite programs in the country. So fans will be, who don't have a rooting interest, will probably be rooting for Temple. Can you talk about how it is to play in that kind of atmosphere? And is that something that you embrace?
It's definitely a challenge. We've been in that situation many times this year with playing at Butler, at UConn, again at the Big East tournament. So I think it is something we embrace just because we like to go out there and be the underdogs. We like to have people kind of look against us, or, you know, I just feel like this team likes to prove a lot.
Any other questions for the student athletes? All right, we'll excuse them at this time. Thank you. Questions for Coach McGraw?
Yeah, Coach, I'm just curious how big a fan you are of Lady Gaga.
I did not make the concert.
Beck,
Yeah.
I am also curious kind of the philosophy of, you know, after a big win, I'm assuming if there had been a loss, maybe you probably wouldn't have gone to Lady Gaga.
Right.
So what's the mindset? What are you trying to do for your team by taking them to a big concert after a win in the tournament, where maybe some coaches wouldn't want them to lose focus, perhaps?
It's actually something that we try to do all year long. When we travel, we try to do something fun. We went to South Florida, who's in our conference, and we went to Busch Gardens the day before the game. You know, we try to find something. Last year we were in New York. We went to a Broadway play. I think it's important that it's not a business for them. It's got to be fun. And any time that we can let them have fun, I think it helps us. I think it helps our team chemistry. I think it's a great thing for them, their kids, and they need to enjoy what they're doing. And I think it helps keep the passion and it gets them ready for practice. And it's been working. You know, we started doing it a couple years ago, and we've played pretty well. So we're going to stick with it.
Coach, can you talk about Temple a little bit about they limit the opportunities for other teams to get transitions with the way they handle the ball, and also their three-point shooting. I mean, they've hit a lot of three-pointers against some quality teams.
Yeah, they really have. They're a dangerous team. They really are a good team. Their guards are just exceptional. They can get to the rim and they can shoot the three, which is really tough for us to guard, as you saw last night. I think that we've really kind of got our hands full on the perimeter with trying to stop them. You know, zone's probably not going to be an issue. We can't play zone against a team that shoots a three as well as they do. We've got to contain the ball. I thought their post play was good last night too. I think their center really stepped up last night and had a great game. So just when you think you can concentrate on one thing, you see something else. So they're a great team.
Coach, can you kind of expand on the question I asked Becca about just the roles of each team as they come into this tournament? When you were starting out, I'm going to assume you were in that same sort of thing as you were trying to build a program.
I'm not sure. I got that whole thing.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Just looking at what they're trying to do as underdog, and you know playing in an atmosphere where maybe the non-supporters of Notre Dame will be taking the Temple side. Right.
And, you know, we see that when we go to Connecticut in the Big East tournament and we're playing DePaul, and all the Connecticut fans are cheering for DePaul. So I think we're kind of used to being that. We've kind of got away from the underdog role, except for the games when we play Connecticut. You know, we're kind of a team that everybody wants to beat. So you know, it's different playing with the target on your back, and that's the great thing about this team. We lost 4 starters last year. We came into this season a little unsure, not knowing exactly how we were going to gel, and we went quickly from being an underdog to right back in the hunt as a top 10 program. So I think the expectation coming into Notre Dame is that we're going to try to compete for a national championship every year. We want to get those kind of players. We expect to win, and that's the mindset of our team.
Given your Philly roots, should this game be at the Palestra? And also, have you ever talked to Temple about scheduling the Owls? And you probably know Coach from when she was at UConn. Have you ever tried to get a game at the Palestra?
You know, we have not played at the Palestra since I've been at Notre Dame. It is a great place to play. What a great venue for college basketball. I saw a lot of games there when I was at St. Joe's. We don't go back to Philly and play Temple because being in the Big East Conference, where you're back in the East Coast so much, that I felt like we wanted to branch out and play teams in different conferences, maybe to the South and West. So that's why we haven't played back there, but I do know Temple pretty well. And yeah, it's great to see Tanya having such a great year. Always cheer for the Philly schools when they're not playing us.
Coach, how have you managed to maintain success year after year? Is it true? Does it get harder to do that?
I think I've been blessed with great coaches. I've got great assistant coaches, and they do such a tremendous job for me recruiting-wise. You know, you get a player like Skylar Diggins, that certainly helps, and I think that our recruiting has been pretty good over the years. I think Notre Dame's a place that attracts a specific kind of person and player, and we've been able to be successful with them. But we've got a great fan base. I mean, there's so many things that go into building a program that you can't look at one person and say, you know, this is the person that got us started. We've had some key players throughout the years, Ruth Riley, Beth Morgan, that got us going. And it's difficult to sustain, and I'm very fortunate to be in this position.
Coach, Temple's defense did a good job shutting down Arizona State yesterday. What can you do to do something a little bit differently? Because Arizona State really struggled shooting the ball yesterday.
Yeah, they do. And Temple has the quickness and the athletic ability. They're going to get up and press. They can really pressure. They can double team. They can do a lot of things because they have just the athletic ability and the skill really to get out and defend. So I don't think we have a lot of mismatches. I mean, I think in some games you look and you say, well, we can exploit this mismatch, and I don't think we have one in this game. So I'm not sure what we're going to do. We're going to try to run our stuff and execute with a little more precision than we did yesterday.
A lot of people have talked about Skylar as your key player, but Temple also has a very good point guard in Shea Petty. I'm not sure if you were able to watch any film or watch any of the game yesterday, but have you seen things about her that concern you in that matchup?
I think all their guards concern me. You know, you saw how we guarded Badon yesterday, and you know, she got to the basket pretty much whenever she wanted to. So that's a concern. I think Shea is somebody that she runs their team. I mean, she is the most important guard on their team. You look at your point guard as somebody that's going to run the team, get them into their stuff. She can create. She can find people. She can get to the rim. She can score. She really can do it all. So I think that's going to be a great matchup tomorrow between her and Skylar.
Coach, what are your thoughts on the NCAA tournament that's been kind of going back and forth, college campuses, neutral, so forth? What are your thoughts on that?
I think most coaches would love to play on a neutral court, but I'm not sure that we're ready to sustain that with attendance. Certainly the finances are driving some of what we do, and I don't think that we're going to draw the type of crowds that will lead us to the neutral sites. I'm in favor of going back to the top 16 hosting. I think they earned the right to host. It's difficult for a lot of teams to play on somebody else's home court, and especially if you're the higher seed, you feel a little more pressure to play on somebody's home court. We were in that position, you know, as an 11 seed going to Kansas State. We were as a 6 seed going to Texas. You know, I think we've done that, but I like the idea of earning the bid to the right to host.
The NCAA changed the rule on the open practices for first-round games, and I know last year in South Bend there was a pretty decent crowd for your practice. How do you feel about that rule change? Are you glad about it? Do you want, you know, some changes made to that?
I thought it was a great rule change. It was one that I know I wrote on my sheet, and probably every coach in America did, because what happens when you have the open practice is you have to go somewhere and practice. So you get your team a high school gym or something, and you're there for an hour and a half. Then you come over here and you have a half an hour where the locker room's open for the media. Then you have your your open practice for an hour. And now you're looking at like a 4 to 5 hour day before your game, where the team is constantly, they're either sitting in the locker room waiting to practice or they're on the floor practicing. So this is a much better way to do it. I think having it 15 minutes for the media is great. And then you have an hour and 15 minutes to do what you want. You don't have to find another site, and you know, it just saves the kids' legs, I think.
Any other questions for Coach McGraw? All right, thank you, Coach.
I'd like to invite all the Catholics out tomorrow to sit behind the Notre Dame bench.
If you have further questions, you can talk